I never thought betrayal could taste like cheap bourbon and regret. But there it was, burning down my throat as I stared at the sterile white walls of that underground clinic in the bowels of Chicago's Loop. My phone had buzzed at 2 a.m. the night before. Mom's text, stark and accusatory. $85K gone. Blame your dementia when the bank calls. I'd laughed it off then, wiring her the cash from my own account like the dutiful son I pretended to be. But now, strapped to that cold metal table, with Victor Hale's icy blue eyes locking onto mine, I realized the joke was on me. He wasn't just my boss. He was the architect of every fracture in my life. And this was his masterpiece. You see, Victor Hale didn't climb to the top of Hale Enterprises by playing fair. The man was a shark in a suit, devouring startups and spitting out bones, all while flashing that million-dollar smile on CNBC. I'd idolized him once, fresh out of Northwestern with my MBA, clutched like a lifeline, landing the junior exec gig at his firm. He mentored me, or so I thought, late nights at the office turning into boozy confessions over steaks at Gibson's. "McKinley," he'd say, clapping my shoulder with that vice grip hand. "You're the son I never had. Ruthless enough to survive this city." I ate it up, mirroring his cutthroat deals, closing mergers that left competitors homeless in the market crash of 22. But beneath the bro-code bullshit, Victor was burying bodies, metaphorical ones, at least. Embezzlement schemes funneled through shell companies, bribes to city councilmen for zoning favors on those luxury condos lining the Gold Coast. And me? I was the fall guy, the eager pup he'd groomed to take the heat. It started small, signing off on a routine wire transfer that vanished into offshore accounts. Then came the emails, forged, backdated, my digital fingerprints all over them. By the time the feds knocked, I was drowning in subpoenas, my name splashed across the Tribune as Hale's heir apparent turned traitor. Victor? He played the shocked patriarch, testifying with crocodile tears about how I'd lost my way. I did 18 months in Fox Lake, minimum security but maximum soul crush, watching inmates shank over contraband while I replayed every late-night pep talk. Out on good behavior, I clawed back to Chicago, crashing on Mom's couch in her cramped Pilsen walk-up, her Alzheimer's worsening by the day. That $85,000? It was her nest egg, siphoned by medical bills that were really Victor's cleanup crew paying off witnesses. Her text hit like a gut punch because deep down, she knew. I'd confessed in fragments, blaming my dementia as the family joke that masked my shame. But Victor? He didn't stop there. He dangled the bait. A revolutionary therapy for Mom's condition, experimental neural mapping at some black market lab in the meatpacking district. Fix her mind, McKinley. Make it right. I bit, desperate, signing the waivers without reading the fine print. The swap happened in a blur of humming machines and chemical haze. They called it consciousness transference, some DARPA offshoot peddled to the elite for immortality hacks. Victor shook my hand before the anesthesia kicked in, his grip too tight, eyes too knowing. "Trust me, kid. This'll change everything." I woke up gasping, not in my own skin, but in his. 6'2", broad-shouldered, the faint scar on his knuckle from that yacht party in 19. The mirror in the recovery room showed Victor Hale staring back, silver temples and all, but my thoughts screaming inside. Panic clawed at me as I fumbled for the door, bursting into the hallway where nurses scattered like roaches. "Where's McKinley?" I roared, voice deeper, commanding, his voice. A doctor in a white coat stammered. "Mr. Hale, the procedure was a success. Your donor is stable in the adjacent room." Donor. That's when the hook twisted deeper. I shoved past him, slamming into the next chamber. There I was, me, slumped in a bed, my old body pale and slack, monitors beeping steady. But when I opened my eyes, it wasn't my bewildered gaze. It was Victor's, calculating, triumphant. "McKinley," he said in my tenor, sitting up with unnatural grace. "Welcome to the big leagues. Or should I say, welcome to the gutter." He laughed, a wet, mocking sound from my throat, and I lunged, fists flying. Security swarmed, tasers crackling, but not before I landed one solid punch to that stolen jaw, my jaw. They dragged me off, sedatives flooding my veins, Victor's voice echoing. "He's delirious. Get him out." By dawn, I was back in my old life, or what was left of it, dumped on Mom's doorstep like yesterday's trash, the clinic's complication clause shielding them from lawsuits. Victor, in my body, had already lawyered up, filing for a psych eval, painting me as the unhinged ex-con hallucinating swaps. The world bought it. Headlines screamed, "Hail impersonator nabbed." My mugshot. Victor's face, plastered everywhere. Mom didn't recognize me when I staggered in, her eyes vacant as she clutched her phone, rereading that damning text. "McKinley," she whispered, then shook her head. "No, you're not my boy." I wanted to scream the truth, but who believes in body swaps? Not the cops, not the shrinks at Cook County. So I played along, slipping into Victor's penthouse under the cover of his own security codes. Biometrics be damned when you're wearing the man's face. That's when the planning began, a venomous itch under my skin. Victor thought he'd won, lounging in my modest frame, charming Mom with visits that masked his pilfering. He'd drained her accounts dry, that $85,000 just the appetizer, whispering to her about dementia fog to cover his tracks. But in his body, I had access, boardroom proxies, encrypted drives, the keys to his kingdom. Hale Enterprises wasn't just a real estate empire. It was a syndicate, laundering cartel cash through philanthropic builds in Little Village. The secret he'd buried? The fire in 18, not an accident, but Victor torching his own warehouse to collect insurance, killing 3 undocumented workers in the blaze. I'd signed the manifest that night, green as hell, thinking it was legit inventory. He pinned it on me during my trial, the bodies vanishing into bureaucracy. I'd carried that guilt like a millstone, visiting their families anonymously with scraps from my paycheck. Now, it was payback time. First move, infiltrate. I strode into the Hale Tower like I owned it, because I did, legally, until the board sniffed out the imposter. Suits nodded, elevators whisked me to the 52nd floor. Victor's assistant, Lena, a sharp-eyed Latina who'd always eyed me with pity, did a double take. "Mr. Hale? You're back early." I flashed his grin, all teeth and no soul. "Family emergency, Lena. Pull the Q3 ledgers. And cancel my afternoon. Tell the mayor it's personal." She complied, fingers flying, while I rifled his desk. There it was, the neural logs from the clinic, stamped with his signature. Proof. But proof meant nothing without teeth. That night, in the penthouse overlooking the churning Chicago River, I plotted. The city thrummed below, horns blaring, L trains rattling, like a beast hungry for blood. Victor, in my body, was holed up in Pilsen, seducing Mom with lies, probing for any loose ends. I could almost hear him. "Your son's always been troubled, Mrs. Rourke. This swap nonsense? It's the Alzheimer's talking." Rage-boiled, hot and black. Controversial? Hell, I'd burn it all if it meant dragging him down. But no. Too quick, too clean. Revenge had to be slow, surgical, a mirror of his betrayal. Step 1, sow doubt. I leaked a memo to the Sun-Times, anonymous, of course, hinting at internal discrepancies in the warehouse fire investigation. Reporters swarmed, and Victor's phone, my old number, lit up with frantic calls. He texted me, from my body to his. "What the fuck are you doing, McKinley? Back off or Mom pays." I replied with his own arrogance. "Tick-tock, Victor, your empire's built on sand." Then I hit send, deleting the thread. Step 2, the personal touch. I drove to Pilsen in his Bentley, the engine purring like a predator. Mom's door creaked open, her frail form silhouetted. "McKinley," she breathed, eyes lighting for a split second. Then confusion. "No, Victor." I stepped inside, closing the door soft. "It's me, Mom. The real me. Listen," but she backed away, clutching her rosary. "The money. You took it. Both of you." Her words sliced deeper than any blade. Victor had poisoned her mind, twisting my visits into delusions. I knelt, taking her hands, his hands, manicured and steady. "He stole your life, Mom. And mine. But I'll fix it." She searched my face, Victor's face, and whispered, "Prove it. Give me back my boy." The gauntlet thrown, I escalated. Using Victor's Rolodex, I called in favors. Old rivals he'd crushed, now hungry for scraps. A whistleblower from the fire, a hacker kid from the South Side, who dodged Victor's buyout. We met in dive bars off Halstead, shadows pooling under neon signs for Mallard shots. "Hale's dirty," I told them, voice gravel from his cigars. "But I'm him now. Help me gut the beast from inside." They bought it, or pretended to, controversy brewing in their eyes. Was I liberator or lunatic? One night, over lukewarm pierogies, the hacker, Jax, barely 20, slid me a drive. Your neural map's intact, man. But there's a backdoor. Victor didn't wipe clean. He mirrored. You got his memories too, buried deep. I plugged it in later, alone in the penthouse, the city a glittering accusation below. Flashes hit. Victor's childhood in the projects, clawing up from nothing. The fire, his hands trembling as he lit the match. Workers' screams echoing. And me, signing that manifest, not green, but complicit, eyes on the promotion. Had I known? The doubt gnawed, a controversial worm. Was I avenging or atoning? By week's end, the leaks snowballed. SEC filings flagged, shareholders jittery. Victor countered, from my body. A tearful interview on WGN, claiming corporate sabotage by a deranged former employee. Me. The public ate it. Hail hero trending, my old face beaming innocence. But I had the board eating from my palm. At the emergency meeting, I stood at the head of the oak table, Victor's posture straight as steel. Gentlemen, ladies, the house is rotting. Time to fumigate. I presented Dr. Dox, half true, half venom, implicating Victor's impersonation as fraud. Gasps rippled. Lena's eyes widened, a flicker of belief. Proxy vote, I declared. I retained control. They caved, fear trumping loyalty. That night, champagne in hand, his favorite view, I toasted the mirror. To new beginnings, you bastard. But Victor wasn't done. He struck back filthy. A home invasion at Mom's, staged to look like my doing. Cops hauled her to safety, but not before she slipped me a note in the chaos. The swap key, under the floorboard. End it. My heart seized. Floorboard? In the penthouse? I tore up the Persian rug, prying oak slats till his nails splintered. There, a vial, glowing faint, labeled reversal serum. The clinic's failsafe, hidden by Victor for his escape. But why leave it? The worm of doubt fattened. Memories surged again, Victor's, mind blurring. The fire. I'd suggested streamlining inventory, that night, code for arson. The $85,000. I'd eyed Mom's account once, in desperation. Was I the villain he'd swapped to expose? No time for philosophy. Dawn broke gray over the lake as I drove to the clinic, serum clutched like a grenade. Victor waited, in my body, flanked by goons in the same sterile hall. Clever boy, he sneered, my features twisted cruel. But you always were the weak link. I didn't steal your life, McKinley. I gave you mine to see if you'd sink it. The revelation hung. The swap wasn't just betrayal. It was his twisted test. He'd buried the fire on me because I deserved it, complicit, hungry for power. The workers' deaths? Our shared sin. Mom's money. I'd confessed the theft to him years back, a drunken slip. He'd waited to weaponize it. You're me now, he laughed. Wear the crown, feel the thorns. I uncapped the vial, lunging. Goons piled on, but I injected wild. Half in him, half in me. Agony ripped through, bodies convulsing as souls tore free. The room spun, monitors shrieking. When clarity hit, I was back. Me, scrawny McKinley, staring at Victor in his own flesh, slumped and gasping. You. Lost. I wheezed, but his eyes gleamed. Did I? The twist landed like a freight train. The serum wasn't reversal. It was amplifier, fusing us permanent, memories entwined. Now, in his body or mine, we'd haunt each other forever. Cops burst in. Lena's tip, the board's panic. Victor smiled weak. Arrest him. The imposter. They cuffed me, but as they dragged me out, Mom waited in the hall, clear-eyed for the first time in years. McKinley, she said, touching his cheek. It's over. Was it? The headlines flipped. Hale vindicated. But in the shadows, our fused minds plotted on. Revenge eternal, debatable to the end. Who won? The city didn't care. It just kept grinding, devouring its own. The holding cell in the 18th district smelled like piss and broken dreams, a far cry from the leather-scented boardrooms I'd commandeered just hours before. My body, Victor's body, ached from the tussle, bruises blooming like accusations under the fluorescent buzz. I paced the concrete, replaying the fusion, his memories slithering into mine like oil and water, coating every regret. The fire's acrid smoke, the workers' pleas. I'd heard them in my head that night, hadn't I? Turned away for the bonus, the corner office view of the bean reflecting my ambition back at me. Victor hadn't lied. I'd been his mirror, polished to a sheen. But fusion cut both ways. Now I had his playbook, the cunning that built empires from ashes. As the bars clanged for my arraignment, I whispered to the empty air, "Round 2. You son of a bitch." Court was a circus, Chicago style. Flashbulbs popping like gunfire outside the Cook County Courthouse. Protesters chanting about corporate greed while suits whispered bets on the outcome. Victor, back in his flesh, pale but poised, testified with Oscar-worthy pathos. "Your Honor, this man, claiming to be me, has terrorized my family, impersonated me to seize control. It's delusion, born of prison bitterness." The gallery murmured sympathy. Mom sat front row, her face a mask, but her eyes, sharp now, post-fusion echo, flicked to me with something like pity. Or was it judgment? The judge, a grizzled vet named Kowalski with a White Sox lanyard, banged his gavel. Bail denied. Mental health eval pending. Shackles bit my wrists as they led me out, but not before I caught Victor's smirk, our shared smirk, promising more games. Back in lockup, the fusion itched worse. Nightmares bled into waking. Victor's first kill, not literal but close. A rival exec suicided in Lake Michigan, weights sewn into his Armani. I'd absorbed the method, the thrill. My own sins paled. The $85,000, a desperate grab during Mom's first hospital stay, covered by lies about investment opportunities. She'd texted that night, not accusing, but forgiving in her fog. "We'll manage, son." Victor had twisted it, amplifying her doubt into dementia's cruel joke. Now, with his neural ghosts, I saw the full board. He'd targeted me because I was malleable, a patsy with a conscience to exploit. But exploitation breeds evolution. By lights out, I had a plan, controversial as hell, straight out of his black book. First, leverage the inside. Fox Lake alumni ran the commissary. A nod to my old celly. Ramirez got me a smuggled burner. Text to Lena. "It's Hale. Meet at the Billy Goat. Midnight. Bring the drive." She showed, wary under the cheeseburgers sign, the rivers stink mingling with fry grease. "This is insane, Mr. H. McKinley. Whatever you are." I slid her a napkin-scrawled code, Victor's private server. "Decrypt it. You'll see the fire files, unredacted." The bodies had names. Ruiz, Patel, Kowalski. Irony, huh? Leaked to ProPublica. Frame it as my confession. Her eyes narrowed, the moral Rubicon gleaming. "And if I don't?" I leaned in, voice his velvet threat. "Then Victor walks, and your pension vanishes with the firm." She took the napkin, vanishing into the night. Controversy seeded. Was I puppeteering her, or freeing her? Word spread like flu in winter quarters. By morning, whispers hit the yard, Hale's empire cracking. My public defender, a harried kid named Patel, no relation, thank God, burst in with clippings. Nonprofit probe into Hale warehouses, 3 deaths covered up. Victor's face on the feed, sputtering denials. But the fusion hummed approval. This was his style. Hit him in the wallet. Watch him bleed. I pressed Patel. "Get me a psych consult." The fusion. "It's real. Neural logs prove it." He scoffed, but filed the motion. Enter Dr. Elena Vasquez, shrink with a rep for ghosting the system, Latina firebrand who testified against psych med overprescription in the projects. She sat across the table, notepad blank. "Tell me about the swap, Mr. Rourke? Or Hale?" I spilled. The clinic, the vial, the merge. Her pen stayed still. Hallucination or not, it's compelling. But the controversy, souls aren't property. If true, who's culpable? The doctor? Victor? You for signing? Her words stung, echoing the doubt. In fusion flashes, I relived signing the manifest. Eyes on Victor's nod, heart pounding not with fear, but excitement. The promotion meant Mom's care, sure, but also power's rush, Chicago's concrete jungle bowing. Was revenge justice, or my own mask slipping? Vasquez saw it, tilting her head. Decisions like this, escalating, they haunt. What if ending him ends you? I laughed, bitter. Already has. She slipped me a card, off-book session. But careful, power corrupts, swapped or not. As she left, guards roughed me up. Victor's orders, bruises for the cameras. Pain clarified, no mercy. Escalation hit warp. Lena's leak detonated. Feds raided Hale Tower, carding servers while Victor lawyered up in a panic room. He called the prison line. Voice mine, but laced with his panic. You think this ends me? I am Chicago. Back off, or Mom's next. Real this time. Click. The threat landed, but Fusion armed me. His safe house addresses, dirty cop contacts. I burned the line to Jax the hacker. Wiretap Victor's cell. Mom's bug. Confirmation came encrypted. Her apartment wired. Feeds live. I watched on the contraband tablet, heart in throat. Victor, in my old flannel, pacing her kitchen. The boys lost it, Mrs. Rourke. But I'll protect you. She poured tea, steady. Like you protected the money? He froze. She'd played him. The Fusion's echo sharpening her. What do you know? Her smile faint enough. The text was bait. McKinley's fighting for us. Tears pricked. His tear ducts, traitorous. Mom, my anchor, turning the tide. But Victor adapted, his core. Then your collateral. He lunged, the feed cut to static. Adrenaline surged, Fusion fueling fury. I banged the bars, riot. Now, inmates, sensing weakness, obliged. Commissary brawl spilling to chaos. Guards scrambled. In the melee, I slipped the fence, Ramirez's shank as distraction. Chicago swallowed me, alley slick with autumn rain. To Mom's, door ajar, struggle marks. She huddled in the corner, rosary tight. He ran, she gasped. Knew you were coming. Victor, the snake, slithered to his bolt hole. A Gold Coast safe house, Fusion memory pinpoint. I hot-wired a cab outside a dive, barreling north. The city blurred, Picasso statue weeping in the storm, Lakeshore Drive a ribbon of taillights. Controversial decision loomed. And him lethal? Cops would call murder. Fusion whispered efficiency, his methods. No. Vasquez's words echoed. Haunt, not kill. At the safe house, a McMansion fortress, I scaled the ivy, his climbing scars aching. Inside, opulence mocked. Marble counters, Warhol knockoffs. Victor waited in the study, revolver steady. Poetic McKinley. You in my skin, me with your trigger finger. We circled, souls mirrored. The fire, I said. I knew. He grinned. And stayed silent. Partners. The lie, no, truth, hung. Fusion bound us, sins shared. I lunged, not for the gun, but his throat. Hands his strong. We grappled, crashing shelves. Mom's safe, I growled. Leaks spreading. He need my gut, my old weak spot. But the board? They'll bury it. I'm Hale. Doubt flickered. Fusion showed his contingencies. Offshores, alibis. Then sirens wailed. Feds, Lena's work. Victor bolted for the panic room. I tackled, vile shards from my pocket glinting. One more dose. Mockery. But his eyes widened. Fear? Respect? Doors burst. Agents swarmed. Victor Hale, you're under arrest. They cuffed him, me too, for escape. But as they separated us, Mom arrived, Vasquez in tow. My son, she claimed, pointing me. The twist deepened. Fusion's echo in her, believing. Bail hearing dawned. Public split. Free McKinley versus lock up the imposter. Victor, in orange, sneered across the dock. But Vasquez testified. Neural anomaly confirmed. Shared consciousness. Gasps. The judge frowned. Sci-fi in my court. Controversy peaked. Headlines screamed, body swap trial. Real or hoax? I walked, conditions strict, Mom's arm in mine. Victor? Remanded, empire crumbling. Victory? Fusion laughed and sighed. His knowledge mine, temptations eternal. At home, over weak tea, Mom squeezed my hand, Victor's hand. We both lost boys that night. Debatable end. Justice or endless war. Freedom tasted like rain-soaked asphalt and paranoia, the kind that has you checking mirrors for tales that aren't there. Chicago didn't forgive fugitives. It chewed them up and spat out husks. Mom and I hunkered in a no-tells on the edge of Wicker Park, Vasquez pulling strings for a safe house fund. Lay low, she'd warned. Her psych eval report clutched like a talisman. The Fusion's unstable. Memories bleeding could trigger psychosis. Unstable? Try volcanic. Victor's schemes sloshed in my skull. Contingency bribes to the DA. A mole in the FBI's white-collar unit. I'd wake sweating, his voice my voice, whispering, fight it, McKinley. Or become it. Mom watched me over her puzzles. Her clarity a fragile gift from the echo. You're still you, she'd say. But her eyes searched, hunting the intruder. The Revenge's second act ignited via burner. Jax's ping. Hale's singing, naming names. Yours included. Panic spiked. Fusion supplied the play. Victor's old escape route, a private jet stashed at Midway. But controversial calculus. Flee and abandon the fight, or double down, risk mom. I chose the abyss, texting Lena, board vote tomorrow. Proxy me in. Burn it all. She replied terse, you're Hale now. Don't fuck this up. The tower loomed at dusk, security waving me through, biometrics blind to souls. Elevators hummed to the penthouse boardroom, where execs nursed scotch, faces gaunt. Victor, the CFO, burly Irishman named O'Malley, greeted, then faltered. You look rested. I slid into the leather throne, Fusion's poise automatic. Rested? Gentlemen, I've been reborn. The vote was theater. Dissolve Hale Enterprises. Assets liquidated to a victims fund for the fire families. Gasps echoed. O'Malley pounded the table. This is suicide. Victor, you built this. I leaned forward, eyes as steel, and I buried it. The fire? My match. The bribes? My ink. Time to atone. Lies wrapped in half-truths. Fusion's gift, blurring blame. They caved, pins scratching resignations. As they filed out, Lena lingered, key fob in hand. The real Victor's depot tomorrow. Feds want you as witness. Her gaze pierced. Or are you? Controversy coiled. Testify as victim or saboteur. I pocketed the fob. Watch the news. Night fell heavy, city lights fracturing on the glass walls. I hacked the server. Victor's password's mine now. Uploading the full ledger. Cartel ties. The $85,000 funneled through mom's care as slush. Leaked to every outlet from Block Club to the Fed's tip line. Victor's empire imploded live. CNN tickers screaming, Hale scandal, mob money and magnates. Protests swelled outside. Southside moms with photos of the fire dead, chanting justice for Ruiz. Fusion thrilled, dark ecstasy. This was power's flip side, destruction's high. But dawn brought the bill. Victor's mole, a Fed named Harlan, called. Rourke? Or Hale? Walk away, or we pin the leaks on you. Accessory after the fact. The line died. Choice loomed. Ugly American. Rat out the rat, or join the pack. Mom decided it. We met Vasquez at a taqueria off 18th, Al Pastor sizzling his cover. Testify, she urged, files spread on greasy formica. But the Fusion, it's you now. Own the sins, or they own you. Her words mirrored the doubt. The warehouse. I joked about controlled burn, over beers with Victor, ambition blinding ethics. The $85,000? I typed the transfer myself, fingers trembling but resolute. Was revenge redemption or deflection? Mom touched my arm, her grip frail anchor. Your father, God rest, always said, pay the piper, son. Victor's piper is you. Tears, his ducks again, welled. Controversial, turn states, betray the Fusion's shared guilt? Depot day dawned foul, fog cloaking the federal building like a shroud. Victor, shackled across the sterile table, grinned through bruises. McKinley, come to confess. The prosecutor, a hawkish woman named Reyes, nodded me in. Mr. Rourke, your statement on the swap. I sat, recorder whirring. It happened. Clinic on Fulton. Neural transfer. I'm in his body, he's fused. Snickers from the gallery. Reporters, feds. Victor leaned, chains rattling. Delusional. But go on. Tell him about the fire. Your idea. Fusion flared. Yes, mine. The streamlined quip, his execution. I swallowed. Shared. I suggested, he lit. The deaths, our weight. Gasps, Reyes's eyes sharpened. Corroboration. I slid the drive, logs, timestamps. Proof. Chaos erupted. Victor lunged, spittle flying. Liar. He begged for the promotion. Guards wrestled him. I held steady, but inside, Fusion warred. His rage mine, my guilt his. Reyes pulled me aside post. This changes everything. Hill's going down, but you? Immunity if you flip fully. The offer hung, Faustian. Flip, and I walk clean, McKinley redeemed. But Fusion whispered Victor's escape. Witness tampering, Harlan's badge for sale. I nodded. Deal. Outside, protesters mobbed. A woman, Ruiz's widow, grabbed my sleeve. You were there? Her eyes hollow. Si, senora. Lo siento. Sorry didn't cut, but it cracked something, humanity under the swap's veneer. Escalation peaked that night. Victor's play, a suicide attempt in holding, note blaming the imposter's torment. Faked, of course, his classic, to sway sympathy. But Fusion knew the code. I alerted Reyes via burner. Staged. Check the ink. Ultraviolet. Fed swarmed. Plot foiled. Victor texted from shadows. How? You learn quick, pup. But mom's next target. Attached. A photo. Her asleep in the safe house. Throat marked X. Fury blinded. I raced back, bursting in to find her safe, but the window cracked. Intruder fled. Vasquez arrived, sirens tailing. He's unraveling, she said, scanning me. The fusion, it's amplifying. Decisions now are yours, but tainted. Tainted? Try toxic. Controversial crest. And Victor extrajudicial, his methods in my veins? The plan coalesced over midnight coffee, mom dozing nearby. Harlan, the mole, Fusion's memory placed him at Victor's yacht bash, envelope stuffed. I called, voice his command, meet. Riverwalk. Now. He showed, trench coat flapping, eyes darting. Hail. I stepped from shadows, rain sheeting. Worse. Walk with me. We paced under Wrigley glow, tourists oblivious. Victor's offering double to bury the depot. Take it, or I bury you. His laugh barked. Kid, you're an over. But Fusion supplied leverage. His offshore account, Victor's slush. Pin 4782. Check your phone. He did, paling. How? I shrugged. We're one now. Gun flashed. He fired wild. I disarmed. Victor's reflexes, twisting till he cracked. Tell Reyes, full coupe, or this hits the wire. He slunk away, broken. Dawn broke. Arrests cascaded. Harlan flipping. Cartel links unspooling. Victor's empire? Auction block. Proceeds to victims. Mom and I walked the safe house yard, her hand in mine. His still. Proud, she asked. Fusion choked. Pride or poison? Trying, Mom. Vasquez called. Eval clear. But the merge, permanent. Therapy. I hung up, staring at the lake's chop. Controversial core. Was I victor or vessel? The trial opened like a wound in the Dirksen Federal Courthouse, Chicago's judicial heart pulsing with media vultures. October wind howled off the loop, scattering leaves like confetti for the damned. I testified first, suit ill-fitting on Victor's frame, tailored for power, not penance. Reyes led me through. The clinic, the swap, the fusion's filthy merge. Jurors leaned in, faces a mosaic, doubting millennials, hardened boomers, a single mom with fire in her eyes. And the fire, Mr. Rourke? Reyes pressed. Fusion surged, truth's blade. My suggestion, Victor's hand. 3 lives, Ruiz, Patel, Kowalski, snuffed for insurance. Gallery gasped. Victor, at the defense table in ill orange, smirked. Lies from a madman. His turn was venom. Shrinks parading delusions. My Fox Lake rap sheet as Exhibit A. McKinley Rourke, ex-con, embezzler, stole my life for revenge. The $85,000 slideshow. Bank statements. Mom's text magnified. Blame your dementia. Jurors winced. Mom, in the gallery, bowed her head. Controversy crested. Tweets exploded. Swap or scam? Pundits on Fox debated soul theft ethics. MSNBC hammered corporate cannibalism. Vasquez consulted sidebar. Her report a bombshell. Anomalous neural patterns. Shared cognition confirmed via MRI. Skeptics scoffed, but seed planted. I caught Victor's eye across the room. Our eye. And saw the crack. Fear, or Fusion's mirror mocking. Recess brought the storm. Protesters surged barricades. Ruiz's widow shoving a photo in my face. You pay. Her grief raw. American as apple pie gone sour. Working on it. I muttered, Fusion's guilt a lead weight. Lena cornered me in the hall, eyes red. Boards dissolved. But the families, they want blood, not bucks. Her words echoed the worm. Redemption's illusion? Back in session, Victor's ace dropped. Planted evidence, my confession audio, doctored to admit the fire solo. Reyes objected, judge sustained. But damage lingered, jurors' brows furrowed. Night fell in witness protection. Mom and I in a drab Oak Park motel, TV droning hail fallout. End it, she whispered, rosary clicking. Controversial cap, mercy kill, or let law's slow grind avenge. Fusion answered with Victor's playbook, manipulate the jury. I slipped protection, guard napping via spiked coffee, Harlan's tip. To the widow's block in Little Village, murals weeping under street lamps. She answered wary, door chained. Rourke, I held the photo back. Tell me about him. Hours spilled. Ruiz's laugh. Dreams deferred, fires theft. Dawn, I left cash, hail residuals, and a vow, his share of the auction. For you. She nodded, door closing soft. Back at trial, the shift, anonymous juror notes, sympathy tilting. Victor sensed, raging cross. You stole my body, my mind. Admit it. I met his gaze. We stole together. Climax cracked on day 10. Jax's hack, live stream to court. Victor's safe deposit vid, bragging the swap. Rourke's the perfect patsy. Where his skin, watch him burn. Gasps thundered. Judge called mistrial, murder won. Victor howled as marshals dragged him. It's not over. Fusion laughed, dark harmony. But the twist reversed like a gut punch. In the melee, a Fed slipped me a file, DARPA origins, the clinic attest site. Victor? Not mastermind. Guinea pig 2, swapped to field test fusion on volunteers. Me? Chosen because I'd signed a waiver years back, buried in Hale's NDA. The betrayal deepened. Not personal, but systemic. Uncle Sam's soul auction. Reyes pulled me aside. Plea? Immunity for the cartel threat. I nodded, but inside, fusion fractured. Whose sin now? Acquittal came quiet. Charges dropped on insufficient identity. Victor? Life. No parole. Fusion's echo ensuring he rotted knowing I'd won. But victory soured. Mom's clarity faded. Alzheimer's reclaiming as fusion waned. Hers a temporary loan. We moved to her Pilsen home. Me and Victor's shell, selling the Bentley for her care. Lena visited, offering a gig, nonprofit. Fire Victims Fund. I took it. Controversial closure, profiting from pain. Vasquez, therapied weekly. The merge fades. You're McKinley, flawed, free. Flawed. Try fractured. Nights, I paced the river, city lights mocking. The $85,000 repaid tenfold, but her text haunted. Blame the dementia. Mine, now, in quiet moments. Ending? Debatable as dawn. Victor died in Supermax, heart failure. Fusion's final whisper, or karma. I scattered his ashes in Lake Michigan, waves claiming the shark. Mom passed gentle, smiling. My boy. At graveside, Ruiz's widow approached. Enough. No. But I funded the mural. 3 faces, eternal. Chicago ground on, devouring, birthing. Me? In his body, I walked lighter, sins shared but shed. Happy? Tragic? You decide. The swap undid us both.